Hello there, it's your old pal Sean, and we are talking about The Bachelor. Hometowns, to be precise. And we pick back up with Pilot Pete and his 4 final ladies. I am joined by Bachelor correspondent Emily Guidorzy, I believe is the name that you've decided. And she cares about The Bachelor a lot. I care about The Bachelor, not at all, but I do like the comedy of this. And so, Emily, we have a recap. And, I also realized last week we didn't give you a chance to offer your credibility. So why should people listen to you?
Well, Sean, I am a wedding videographer, so you can say I know a thing or two about love.
Sure.
And so far, not to brag, none of my couples have gotten divorced. So I think I'm good luck.
Undefeated.
I'm just saying.
Undefeated.
And I'm very obsessed with The Bachelor. And
Well, that's great.
Really all I need to be qualified for this.
It's a low bar, but she has cleared it. So, without further ado, let's see what happened this week on The Bachelor.
I don't know if we're supposed to do that, but I'm doing it.
Do it.
Okay, it's hometowns, and we can only hope that the final 4 women's parents actually care about them enough to tell Peter they don't approve. Will they choose their daughter's well-being or the whims of some sweet-talking producer and kiss ass on camera? Let's find out.
He said ass. We start off with Hannah Ann, whose father Rick is a woodsman, so naturally they go axe throwing in a strip mall. Rick doesn't seem pumped about Peter and probably dreams of throwing an axe at the pilot's face. He tells Peter not to say, "I love you" to Hannah Ann until he's absolutely sure. So what does Peter do? He then turns around and says, "I love you," exactly, to Hannah immediately after, because he clearly doesn't realize that Rick has been thinking about throwing an axe at his stupid pilot face.
The next date is with Kelsey. In the spirit of Champagne Gate, they go to a vineyard to make wine, presumably so they can make another bottle of booze that will create drama amongst future contestants on the show.
Naturally. Circle of life.
Well played, ABC producers. Well played. Kelsey tells Peter that she is in love with fame, but instead of fame, she accidentally says Peter. Kelsey's mother tells Peter she will kick his ass if he breaks her heart. Well, maybe not exactly, but she certainly should have.
He said ass again.
Why did you do this to me?
Next, Peter goes down. He goes home with Madison, aka the only viable candidate on this show. They play basketball at Auburn University. She beats him at basketball because Peter's not good at things. And then Charles Barkley threatens him on the Jumbotron. Madison reveals that she is saving herself for marriage. Peter probably thinks that marriage means a windmill. There is sure to be conflict down the road.
Did you notice that Madison had to tell Peter who Charles Barkley was?
Oh, wow. Peter really does suck.
Yes. Tells you everything you need to know about him.
Even Jim knows who Charles Barkley is, and he doesn't know anything about sports.
The last hometown date is with Victoria F., who is legitimately a crazy person.
Yes.
They go to a Hunter's Hayes concert because Chase Rice wasn't going to be duped by the Bachelor producers a second time.
Nah.
Then one of Peter's exes, Marissa, shows up and warns him that she is a liability who's ruined relationships before. Peter confronts Victoria. She then runs away. Again. They try and mend things the next day because Peter is colorblind and can't see the color red on all the flags in front of him.
He can't see it. At the rose ceremony, Peter lets the producers tell him what to do and decides to keep Victoria around. He then sends Kelsey home, meaning that we are down to a great option in Madison, an okay option in Hannah Ann, and a terrible option in Victoria. Quite the Goldilocks situation, if you ask me. The reality is that Peter will choose poorly, just like the bad guy at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He chose poorly. But we will still have to tune in to be sure, so check back in next week for another thrillingly pointless installment of The Bachelor. Wow, what an episode. Just when you thought that it was going to be nice and smooth sailing and that there may not be that much drama, but sure enough, the Lord works hard, and the producers of The Bachelor apparently work harder to create the most asinine situations.
Yeah,
So, what's the analysis here, Guidorzy?
Things are looking pretty dire, I would say, at this point.
Sure.
I feel like we see Peter confessing his love to Madison and Hannah Ann, but do we believe him? Not really. I'm not sure why he felt the need to tell Hannah Ann he loves her.
Does he really like any of these girls, or is he just waiting for Hannah Brown to come out of the woodwork?
I hope so. I think we all are hoping for Hannah Brown to come back.
I'm telling you, that has got to be the finale. I've been saying it since day one. I would be surprised if she doesn't make an entrance at the end. It just seems like the obvious thing, because he's just been hemming and hawing the whole time. He's clearly not decisive on any of these girls. I think he says "I love you" and "I love you." Just jerk wood, and I censored myself because the other word wasn't very nice. And at the end of the day, I don't think Peter wants to be here. I don't think these girls want to be here.
I don't think anyone wants to be here.
I don't think the producers want to be here.
This. It hurts.
I think the best case scenario is he ends up with Hannah Brown, and she is a boss, and she'll tell him what to do, and he'll love that. And then Madison becomes the Bachelor next season. Or Bachelorette, next season. I think that's maybe the Bachelor too. Who knows?
Probably has more balls than most of the men who've been Bachelors before.
You heard it here first, folks. She has more balls than most of the men on this show. No, I think Madison's fantastic. I love her. I've loved her from day one, and I think that she is a pure, just sweetly natured, wonderful person, and Peter does not deserve her. Peter also, in a different sense, does not deserve Victoria, but he's not much better than Victoria.
Victoria is deserving the worst possible thing that could come to him, and Madison's the best possible thing
let's
that could
talk
come
about
to him.
let's talk about Victoria. So she is a homewrecker, not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times.
At least 4 times, according to our guru, Reality Steve.
So what is the deal here? The producers, though, I mean, it's a show. You're getting ratings, but they're just throwing these grenades in the situation. And they claim that they are not intentionally casting women and men who are mentally, because they take a psych eval, and allegedly they are not casting people who are chemically imbalanced. But that's clearly bull crap. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, they had to have known Victoria's past. It sounds like it's pretty common knowledge in the Virginia Beach area. And I'm sure it's easy enough to dig that stuff up.
I also loved when Marissa walked up here and goes, "Oh, hey, you live here? You're from here? You dated, you dumbass." That was I didn't buy that for a moment. That was so fake. Peter can't act, so he definitely doesn't have a career in movies after this.
I believed him.
No, well then he is that stupid. I know that we give him a hard time.
I'm as naive as Peter.
No, surely not. Surely if you dated someone from Virginia and you're in Virginia, part of you would think, you know what? They live here. Oh, there she is. Okay.
To be fair, this is where I know way too much. They dated in 2012. That's 7 years ago.
Oh, that was a while back. Okay, that's
so.
All right, I'll concede that. Still, for him just to play so sheepishly dumb, as if that wasn't it's like the Chase Rice situation. Those producers are clearly working hard. They're moving pieces around, and just the shock on everyone's faces. You didn't think this was a possibility. The Bachelors are good. If you give them an inch, they will take a mile. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yes, absolutely. And I think they got way more than they even thought they were getting with Victoria, because they dug up the Chase Rice stuff. They got the dirt on her past with married men, and so she was really, everything they could hope for in a villain.
Right.
If we're labeling her that, which I think at this point we can.
So let me take off my optimistic hat and put back on my cynical hat. Oh, wait, it's been on the whole time. And ask, do you legitimately think Peter would pick Victoria to be in the final 3, or do you think that was a producer pick?
I think he did.
Do you really think that he did?
Because think about what happens in the final 3, Sean. Fantasy suites. I think he's thinking with a different part of his body than his brain right now.
Which part of his body, Emily? His left foot?
I am not even going to warrant that with a response. But you're a man.
Yeah, well, there you have it. I will weigh in and say yes. He is thinking with the wrong appendage. Clearly, to me, it feels like as soon as if that was not a producer pick, they were still just loving it the moment he picked Victoria, because they were like, yes, we don't even have to throw another grenade in this. We already have a live wire. This is fantastic.
Victoria at this point has become the Luke P of the season, where we don't know why you're still here.
Yeah.
And everyone hates you and wants you to go home, but for some reason Peter sees something in her.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's part of me that is they know Hannah Brown's going to be the wild card at the end of the season, and they're just trying to stoke the flames. And so if Hannah Brown does show up, does that legitimize this season, or does it make this season a complete waste of time?
I think because this season was a waste of time, Hannah Brown would legitimize the finale. It would make it worth it because we saw more emotion from Peter when he was with Hannah than we've seen from him with any of the women this season.
It just overall feels like Peter was a big dud.
Yes.
One of the worst bachelors in a long time.
I think he's a nice guy.
Somehow he's worse than Colton, and Colton sucked.
Oh, and Ari sucked. We have had a history of bad bachelors for 4 seasons now, I think. I never saw Nick's season, but I hear he was meh.
Yeah. I think, what's his face? Homeboy, who was on Bachelor in Paradise, who was getting looked at. He would have been the first black bachelor.
Oh, Mike?
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I mean...
I think he would have been a way better pick.
At this point, I agree. When they were in the talks, I didn't really see it because he just had a very, straight-faced, smiley personality. But at this point, I think, yes, for certain, he would have done better.
Mike had personality. He was charming. He is intelligent. It just seemed like they went with they bet on the wrong horse because Pilot Pete had the windmill incident. And, I think that
Mike seemed like a man who could make a decision.
Yeah,
and had
which is probably not what you want on this show. You probably want an indecisive pushover that turns into a puddle of jelly.
Peter is what happens when you choose an Enneagram 9 for your bachelor. But Mike... Sorry for the Enneagram talk.
Yeah, I think they should always pick a 7 or an 8. Preferentially a 7 wing 8 who's got that edgy side, but is pretty fun all around.
Yeah.
The ratings would be through the roof.
An Enneagram 4, someone who's going to be in their feelings.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so annoying. That'd be like if my roommate went on The Bachelor and be like, Matt, just make a decision. He's like, well, gosh, I don't know. They all have merit. We'll see. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I think, but going back to Mike, I think he would have done a great job, and obviously we would have seen a much more diverse cast of women. Mm-hmm. And yeah, at this point, I think he's older. He wants a wife, and I think he's serious about it. And so I think that was probably a big mistake.
Yeah. Well, I've long said this on the show. The Bachelor would not hold a lot of water if they just casted 30-year-olds. If it was all people in their 30s who were past the crazy, just young, reckless stage of dating, and we're actually you know what? I can imagine every rose ceremony is well, hey, I had a great time getting to know you. Wish you all the best. See you around. And they would be way too civil, and the producers would hate it. And so they're like, well, let's just get a bunch of young minds that have not been fully developed yet, and let's throw them in the mix with hormones and hotel fantasy suites and see what the hell happens.
Hopes of influencer fame.
Oh, that's why you go on this show, is to build up your MLM empire.
You want that FabFitFunBox code that you're going to give out to everybody.
That's exactly right.
That's the goal.
And so I'd like to take this time to promote the Buzzer. Use promo code BUZZER, and you could actually win a T-shirt. This is a legitimate endorsement right now. If you go to thebuzzerpodcast.com/shirt, and you can enter into the promo code there, like us on Instagram, Facebook, engage with us on YouTube, and all the other social medias. And for each engagement that you give, you have a extra point going towards your chances of winning some free Buzzer swag. At the very least, even if you don't win, you will get a discount code on Buzzer paraphernalia. And we might even have some Bachelorette stuff in the works, not sanctioned by ABC, of course. That would be liability. But the term Bachelor, the term Bachelorette is a general term that you can't copyright. Otherwise, Nashville would be hosed with all their Bachelorette parties. So the point is, go to thebuzzerpodcast.com/shirt and enter for your chance to win. Now that commercial is done. Final predictions. We got, 3 episodes left? 2 episodes left.
We have Fantasy Suites after women tell.
I foresee,
that's the
you know
one.
what I think is going to be the storyline next week for Fantasy Suites? It's going to be Madison being a virgin. And unfortunately, I hate that ABC is going to play this up because I'm here for Madison. I love her, and I think that, great, stick to your guns. And I think Peter's going to create conflict because he's not going to care about that. And so that's going to be the big storyline they play up. And I think, unfortunately, that's going to be the reason Peter sends Madison home.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed that they've been showing footage of all three of the women together before, or at some point during filming. Now, it's known in the Bachelor world that after you reach Final Four, all 4 contestants are kept separate for the remainder of filming.
Really?
So producers have intentionally put the women together, and I think that is to stir up some trouble with, Victoria and Hannah and Madison, whoever Peter's going to sleep with. I think that that's going to be a huge plot line, and I think Madison's going to leave because I don't think that
Because she's better than this. She
true.
deserves more than this.
Yeah. I don't think she's going to be able to handle it.
Do you think she's our next Bachelorette?
I don't know. I really like her. I actually don't know that she's charismatic enough to be the Bachelorette.
I think she's got a great personality. She's super sweet. And, I think that she's got a good head on her shoulders, which means that her decision-making process... Yeah. Did you know that, statistically speaking, was, only 4% of all the couples that came from The Bachelor are still together, and then it's much higher, closer to 60% of all the couples that came from The Bachelorette are together, which tells us that women have a better process of evaluation than men. Mm-hmm. And then I can imagine that Madison would only help that data point even more because she seems to come from a good, wholesome, well-meaning family, and she also beat Peter at basketball, so I love that.
Yeah, I think it would be...
It's a slam dunk.
ABC, it's a slam dunk choice. Madison for Bachelorette.
I agree. Cool. Well, any closing remarks?
Hannah B for Peter, Madison for Bachelorette, Victoria F for
Jail.
Bachelor in Paradise.
Sorry, Bachelor in Paradise. Same thing. It pretty much is a form of incarceration. You have no access to the outside world, but you get to drink a lot, and then, I guess, sleep around on a beach. You know what? It's not that bad. So, in any event, stay tuned. We'll have a new recap for you next week, and Emily will provide the play-by-play analysis, the color commentary, while I provide the play-by-play. And as always, I'm unimpressed, but this has been The Buzzer. You guys are great.
Bye.